Hello everybody, can you hear me? Can you see me? Hold on, let me get this somewhat right. Right. How you doing everybody? Jonathan, Ross, Martin, Igor, how's things? How's things? I'm trying to just give me 1 second just to get this sorted. Can you hear me alright? What's the sound like? Right! We'll wait for a few more people to come in and we'll start talking about just the joke of the NCT. Just 1 second, I'm getting loads of messages. Alright, I'm sure you've all seen the title. I don't know if you heard about it, but we'll wait for a few more people to come in so I start talking about it. But yes, more issues with the NCT, the MOT in the north as well. It's just a joke at the minute. Absolute joke. There's 47. I just got a message from Dave. I was just editing my Northern Ireland video and about the NCT. You should be in bed. That's it, go to bed. I was just editing my Northern Ireland video about the MOT and I got a message from Dave and now the NCT. What's been said? 40. Where did I read? 47 centres have been closed because of cracked lifts. But what they're doing in Ireland is, what they've actually done in the north is they've completely closed down the tests. But in Ireland, no, they're not doing that. They're going to give you half a test first, and you have to come back later once they got the once they got the lifts fixed. I mean, it's just a joke, an absolute joke. The NCT in Ireland's a joke anyway, because it's not actually ran by Ireland and it's not ran by a garage. It's actually ran by a Spanish company. I think before that it was a French company. Basically every few years I don't know how many years it is, but they send it out to tender. So at the minute in Ireland, a Spanish company is running the national car test of Ireland. They have nothing to do with Ireland, and yet they're running the NCT. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Yeah, it's just, I don't understand. I mean, in the north of Ireland, the government runs it, which I think, the government should run it, or the garages, because the DOE, in Ireland you have two tests. You have the DOE and you have the NCT. The NCT is for cars and the DOE is for vans and trucks and stuff like that. That can actually be ran by a garage, providing you got the right equipment. You can actually put the right equipment in and you are legally allowed to do a DOE test, providing obviously you've got the equipment, the qualifications, blah 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 blah. But the NCT for cars, no, just completely, it's ran by a Spanish company. What the hell has a Spanish company got to do with Ireland? It just doesn't make sense. And it's a money-making scheme rather than a vehicle safety scheme. It should be a vehicle, for your vehicles to be safe, but it's not. It's an absolute fucking joke. Welcome to Ireland. Have I missed people's things? Quickly go back, say hello to a few more people. Where did I go from? So we got Dan, Lee, Martin, Pat, Can Diagnostics, how you doing, mate? Dave's in, Matthew, Mark, New Level Auto, how you doing? So yeah, we're just talking about the absolute joke that is the Irish NCT. Just, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, what? I can't remember how long the NCT's been going for, but obviously this happened in the north a few days ago where they found the lifts that are cracked, and obviously since that's happened, they've obviously decided to do a few tests down here because the lifts are very similar to what you get in the north. I think the equipment is very, very similar, and obviously now the lifts here are cracked, and no one checks it. Well, no one has been checking it, so obviously now they have, and they realise that they're all checked. But like I said, they're splitting in half now. You can do half your test, and then you can come back, God knows how many months later, to do another test. But what people don't realise is, in Ireland, it's not just a case of going to a garage and getting your car tested. What you have to do, which is frustrating, you have to take a morning or an afternoon off work. You have to take your car down to a test centre. Now, to give you an idea, the nearest test centre from me is about 40 miles away. So you have to take the morning or the day off work, get your car tested. If it fails, you then have to go back to a garage, whichever garage is your local garage, get the car fixed, which you're going to have to take another day off work or organise a lift or whatever. It's annoying. Then once the car is fixed, you have to then go back to the test centre. So essentially, you're taking a couple of days off work just to get your car tested, where it'd just be so much easier if you could just leave your car into a garage, get them to test it. If it fails, they ring you up and they say, look, it's going to cost you 300 quid to fix. Do you want me to fix it? Yes or no? They say yes. And they come back in the evening and the car is done. But no. Oh, we got a new subscriber, Martin Smith. How you doing? So, yeah, just fucking annoying. Same test routine in Spain. Yeah, it's annoying. I mean, the mainland UK, I think, has it right. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the test is any better, because obviously you can get dodgy tests and all that. But it's just easier for the person to go to a garage, get it booked in. If it fails, they can fix it most likely on the day, depending on what's wrong with it. And in the evening, you get your car back and it's got a test on it. It's just easier. It's just easier. It's just frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. But like I said, what is a Spanish company got to do with running the test? I don't understand what a Spanish company has to do with running the Irish test. Chris, how you doing, Chris? The lifts are cracked on the NCT. It happened in the north a few days ago, so they shut down the test in the Northern Ireland. Because that's another thing, people don't realise that Northern Ireland and Ireland is essentially two different countries. They are joined, they are technically one country, but they are two separate countries. So you have different rules in the north of Ireland to you do in Southern Ireland, and yeah, so it's just different. You're supposed to be in bed.
No.
Yes.
No.
What's the time? Why aren't you in bed?
Because
what?
I don't know where Mama is.
Ah, kids. Nick, how you doing?
What?
Do you want to say hello to everybody?
Yes.
Come on then. Watch the wire. Say hello.
Hello.
You're supposed to be in bed.
I know.
Your hair's a mess.
I know.
My hair's a mess too.
You don't have any hair.
Oh, thanks. Stating the obvious. There you are, look. Say hello.
Hello. Blah, 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 blah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that all you're going to say?
Blah, 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 blah. Blah.
Sorted. Is that all you got?
Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah.
Keith, thank you very much, Keith.
Blah 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 blah.
Would you be quiet?
Blah 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 blah.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Just Blair.
Blah 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 blah.
So yeah, it's just an absolute joke.
Blah.
My phone's ringing. You need to go to bed because I'm going to get in trouble.
No, you will not.
My phone keeps
Blah 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 blah.
my phone keeps beeping with people sending me
Blah blah
messages.
blah 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 blah.
You go to bed.
No.
Watch The Wire. There you go.
Where's Mummy?
Bed.
Mummy.
That's it.
Where's Mummy?
Upstairs.
I checked and she's not.
She's upstairs. Go to bed.
Is she in Sonny's room?
I'm not sure. Check.
Okay.
So yeah. Oh, Helga, how's things? Just missed you there. So yeah, it's a joke. It really is a joke. I think personally it should either be run by a government, so either your own country's government, and it shouldn't really be a money-making scheme. It should be more of a road safety issue, because at the end of the day, this Spanish company that owns the NCT, they're in it to make money. They're not here to make Irish cars safer, even though they actually are safer because of the test, but they're just interested in making money. It shouldn't be a money-making scheme. It should be a vehicle road safety, to get better, safer cars on the road, so if there's accidents, people might not die as easy. But it's a money-making scheme. It's a money-making scheme which is wrong. She was online. Be careful of the cat. She wants to show you the cat. Right, you need to go to bed.
Well, I need to show her the cat.
Yeah, they can see the cat. The cat doesn't want to be here. It's biting me.
Oh!
Ow!
Smelly!
There we go. Look, there's Castro. Look. Looks really happy.
Yeah, he looks like
Right, you need to go to bed.
I need to wait.
And yeah, it's just.
Blah 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 blah.
You need to go to bed. Right, bed. It's just a joke. It's a money-making scheme where it shouldn't be. Now the kettle's on. It's just a joke. She's reading the comments. Blah 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 blah. Everyone's just saying blah 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 blah. Yeah, the Spanish company won the tender, but I think before the Spanish company, I think it was a French company that had it originally. I think it was a French company. Mixon from Sweden, how you doing, mate? I think it was a French company that originally had it, which it's crazy because obviously when they fight for the contract, they're spending millions. And they're not just doing it for the good of the health. They need to get that money back and to make more money. It's a business. It shouldn't be a business. It should just be a safety thing. It shouldn't be a business for another country, especially, to make money off it. If they allow the garages to do it, because they allow the garages to do the DOE. You can do a DOE if you've got the right equipment. You're legally allowed to do a DOE in Ireland. But you're not allowed to do an NCT, so it doesn't make sense. They've allowed one test, but they don't allow the car test. It's crazy. It just doesn't make sense. It almost sounds like you're making it up. It sounds like it can't be true, but it is. It is true. And my phone's going mental. I must have about 20 people now sending me messages about the Irish NCT. Hi Liam, would you still recommend the Dytex oscilloscope? Sorry for being off topic, thank you. Yes, I would, definitely 100% because it's cheap. It's a great beginner scope. Don't get me wrong. Yes, obviously there's other scopes out there that are bigger, better, but for the price of this thing, it's fantastic, and you can always build on it. The best thing about the well, any scope really, but like the Ditech scope is if you buy, all your different amp clamps and all your different tests, you can move that onto a next scope. So if you want a bigger scope or more powerful scope, all the little accessories you brought, you can move to the to the bigger scope, and it's a great beginner scope, for the price of it. Mike, you should stop doing that. I know what Mike's doing it for. He just wants to see his name come up on the screen, but for some reason, the noise just come up, Mike, but your name didn't come up on the screen. Did it even come up for Keith? I don't know why. Oh, there we go. That's what Mike likes to see. Scrooge McDuck swimming in money. So yeah, just the. I'm just waiting for other countries now to have this problem. Where I live in the UK, I have 4 MOT stations within 5 minutes work at different places. Some who do repairs, some who only do tests. Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, we just don't have that, unfortunately. Here, you have to go to a separate test centre and then you have to go to a garage to get it fixed, which is just frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody, because, even to the point, the NCT here, right, this happened to me. There's no word of a lie. This happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Or was it just before Christmas? A car came and it failed the test on the lights. The lights weren't adjusted properly. Okay, I understand that can be a problem, because if the lights are shining up and it's blinding somebody, yes, 100% I understand that's a problem. I don't have an issue with the car failing for the lights. What I have an issue with is the little adjuster inside the car. When you've got 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, it's when you've got a trailer on your car and your back of your car lifts up so your lights shine up, so you can actually turn the lights back down so you don't blind oncoming vehicles. This car, little wheel to adjust the lights, was on number 3. Now, the NCT don't adjust it, they just fail it. So that car was failed. He then had to come back out, he came to me, I adjusted the light to 0, lights were perfect. He had to, and I didn't charge him, obviously, because I just flipped the knob. He then had to go back a couple of days later to the test and pay €28 to get that retested. It's pathetic, absolutely. The tester wouldn't he wouldn't just literally spend half a second to roll his finger from 3 to 0. He wouldn't do it. And it's not that the guy was being a dick. They're not allowed to. This is what I'm saying. It's not the tester's fault. They're not allowed to, because the company they work for has basically said, no, look, this is a retest. We get another 28 quid. It's a money-making scheme. Any tester that was doing it, like if I was able to test a car in my shed, I would just flick that to 0. I wouldn't charge the customer. Little things like that, which is a joke, an absolute joke. So imagine you taking a day off work to get your car tested. It fails on the light adjuster. If you don't know what you're doing, you have to go back to a garage, get the light adjusted. Now, depending on some garages, they might charge you for that, because they won't tell you necessarily that it was just going from 0 to 0. They might charge you to adjust the lights. Then you have to go back to the test centre, take more time off work, and pay more money to get the car passed. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. But that's just... it's just the way it is here. I don't know what it's like I'd be interested to know in the UK, in the mainland UK, do they fail that, or do you have to put that back yourself, or will the test guys actually put that to 0 for you for free? It's basically a government endorsed scam. I'm surprised people haven't kicked them. But you see, they can't, because it's part of the law states you need an NCT in Ireland, so you can't really. You have to do it, even though as soon as your car comes out of the test centre, you can literally drive down the road 30 seconds after it's passed the test, and if the police deem it, if you hit a checkpoint and the police deem the car unsafe for whatever reason, they can take it off you, even though it's just passed the test. The test means nothing for road safety, so. It's a road safety test that means nothing for road safety, but you need it for the law. Make sense of that. Make sense of that. Most test garages will do that for free. Well, that's good to know because they don't do it here for free. Here in the States, we require to fail the vehicle for performance and then charge for it. Oh, okay. Trouble is, if the tester tries to alter it from 0 and it breaks, already they might be blamed for. I don't know if that's the case because I have to adjust it, so you know it has to be adjusted anyway. I see what you're saying, but I'm not blaming the individual test person. It's not the person's fault. It's their boss that's telling them not to do it. And if your boss tells you not to do it, you kind of have to not do it. You know, it's the Spanish company that are causing this issue. It's not the workers in the test centre. It's the Spanish company that are doing this. Where I go, the test would be before helpful and adjust the light toggle rather than fail it. Up north, is this in England? It is really bad for trying to even book a test and had to book a month in advance and they ring up. Yeah, we have to book it. We sometimes have to book a month in advance and stuff. Again, I wouldn't mind that too much. That's not really the end of the world in that sense. You just got to remember to do it. In Wales, if the lights are the fog lights that would fail, they reset after adjustment. Oh, okay. You alright? Tea? What? Oh, yeah. Cup of tea! Huh? Oh yeah, yummy mummy lot. I'm a yummy mummy apparently. Yeah, there we go. Yummy mummy. Yummy mummy! My local garage will move it and they set the lights if it's up during the test itself. That's good. We are not allowed to verify the I've got a line in on my computer. So there's a screen protector and there's 2 lines and I'm struggling to read some of the messages. Prior to inspection vehicle, if you do not cause the lose your license and large fine. Yeah, I know it's very strict over there, and I don't mind the test. I don't have a problem with the test. Because I remember before what it used to be like in Ireland before the NCT test come in, and the NCT test has made a massive difference as regards the quality of cars on the road. I don't have a problem with the test. I just have a problem with it going to a separate place. I have a problem with another country owning basically the rights to it, and I have a problem that the customer has to go to a test centre and come to a garage and go back to the test centre, and it's just that's what I have a problem more so than anything else. It's just frustrating. It doesn't bother me because it's not my time, it's the customer's time. I see it in the customers what they have to do, and it's I've just burped and got sick in my mouth and swallowed it again. Remote controls on the settee. Oh, I hate when that happens. In the UK, also not fussed about child seat in the back. They would put it down and advise. Okay. In the UK last year, I got my car to a garage. It had a blown one of light bulb side. The garage failed the test, replaced the bulb, and price. Yeah, see, that's what I like. I like the fact that a car can go in for a test in the UK. If it fails, they can ring the customer and they can say, look, it's going to cost you 50 quid, 100 quid, 1,000 quid, whatever the price is. And if the customer agrees to the fix, it can then be fixed and you come out with a test. In Ireland, if you've got a DOE, a van or a commercial vehicle, you can do that. You can book it into a garage, they do the test, and then if it fails, they can actually repair it for you, and depending on what's wrong with it, they might get it out in the same day, and you will have a year's DOE on your van. That's a great system. Why can't they do that? They've got that system in place for a DOE. The equipment is exactly the same for a DOE test as it is an NCT test, because they still test the same things. So why can't they allow cars into that situation? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's so annoying. Well, yummy mummy friend, I've got to get back to work. See you later, Keith. Yeah, I know, Dan, it wasn't very nice. Yummy, says Mike. Uh, my MOT test only does replace an adjustable, so they go. They will also point out fails to me, and yeah. See that again? I don't mind that. It's just I'll get the video out for the I will get the video out for the Northern Ireland one because I've already got it made. I was just editing it, and then like I said, Dave sent me a message. The Irish one, and it was actually his idea. He was like, "Go live and do it." I said, "Fine, I'll go live." And yeah, just unreal. It's just, yeah. Joe just sold me a number plate ball while I was there, and they said if I fit it and there's I see again. That's fair enough. As long as they do it there, that they gave you the option, so you did it yourself. That's fair enough. What I don't like, if a car has hubcaps, you have to remove them to see if the car has all the wheel. Again, I actually don't mind that. I mean, I can understand that because when you pull off hubcaps, that they can break quite easy. So I don't mind that. That's not actually. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Hey Leon, is there anything that should be part of the test that isn't? They are cracking down on it now. When the original Irish NCT came out, if your airbag light was on, they said your airbag wasn't part of the test, and if your engine light was on, they said it's not part of the test. Now that's changed now. Any lights on the dash, it will fail, which I think is a good thing because if your airbag light's on, it means your airbag's not going to work, which is a safety thing. But yet it was never a safety thing in the beginning. But that's the whole idea of the test. Safety test, but your airbag light's on and they don't fail it. Okay. So, what else? There's maybe a few things. They've changed the they used to brakes. With brakes, I showed in my old videos that as long as the braking capacity is good enough for the weight of the car, it passes. If it's got big lines of rust in, it will pass. Now that's a fail. So that's really good. The actual test, I must admit, the actual test, as regards what they test, is great. I just don't like what you have to do to go to, separate garages and take so much time off work to do it. But the actual test, the test is actually good. I have to admit that the actual testing is good. It wasn't at first, but now that now it's been in for a good few years in Ireland, they've kind of, they've sorted all the kind of the little glitches out, and they've got it pretty well now. Still things like tires, they have to be like 30% of the tire to be bald, otherwise it's a pass. Now I still don't agree with that. I think if your tire's balding on the edge, it's just fail it. The DOE do a stupid one. Get this. Again, this is true. Again, in Ireland, if you come with a commercial vehicle to a DOE centre and there's a rip in the seat, they will fail it for the vehicle having a rip in the seat. But what they say is, if you was to put a cover over the seat, they will pass it. But the rip's still underneath the cover. In my opinion, it's either a complete fail or it's not a fail. Putting a cover over a crack and a big hole in the seat isn't fixing the fucking problem. So you either completely fail it or you leave it alone. Does the NCT do emissions on diesels? I think you know the answer to that, Dave. But yes, they don't. Not yet. They're not testing for NOx on diesels. But I think that is coming in. I think that is coming in. Just need to shut that door 1 second. Boom! Back. So yeah, the diesel stuff, they're not testing yet, but I think they will have to be doing soon. See, lifts are broken, no ramps, inspections, NCT. Yeah, Barry, it's all completely gone. S&A Auto Repairs, thanks a lot, mates, for your next inspection. Yeah, it's just, I mean, the thing that really gets me is the fact that it's ran by a completely different country. That's what really gets me. To me, it's pointless, absolutely pointless. I like the British MOT test. Used to point the fails, pushings or welding underneath, etc. NCT just gives you the written report. My Polo failed this week for corrosion the rear light, or condensation the rear light. Take it away. Yeah, they are failing for condensation now. Don't test these in the north. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think they test them anywhere yet, but they are. I think they are going to be doing it. Yeah, past diesel yokes in Northern Ireland on the road. Red stuff, no bother. It's green down here. It's green diesel down here. Yard 86, how you doing, sunny California? Nice, raining, snowy island here. Clamping down on diesels, engine smokes. Think it's a fail if they see smoke. Yeah, if they see a lot of smoke, it's a fail. I mean, if they rev it and it absolutely pumps out loads of smoke, they will fail it. But what I mean is they're not physically testing the NOx. So technically speaking, you can, well, I know for a fact you can, because I know cars that are, you can take the DPF filter out of a car here at the minute and it won't fail the test because they're not testing for NOx. So 100% at the minute in Ireland, you can take out the DPF filter and it will not fail the test, providing it's not pumping out loads and loads of smoke. But yeah. Cars Exposed, Igor, thanks a lot, mates. Good to go, mates. We'll watch it later. Birthday coffee on me. Thanks a lot, mate. Birthday. Oh yeah, it's my birthday a few days ago, people. Like 4 days ago. It was me birthday. Is it just me, or do Ford seem to smoke? Or do Ford smoke other than other cars? The older focus on Mondays, etc. It all depends on how they're driven. It depends on how they're driven. If a car is driven, or a diesel car is driven on short journeys, they'll all kind of smoke after a certain period of time. But yeah, it just depends how they're driven. I wouldn't say there was one specific car that does more than the other. It just depends how it's driven. DPF removal is illegal. Yes, it is, but so is a lot of things, and you know, you got to get caught. But at the minute, they're not testing it, so people do it. The amount of cars that come into me with the DPF filter removed, because it's cheaper, and that's what people do. They get it removed because it's cheaper than fixing it. But once the test comes in, when they're testing NOx, all the cars that have had a DPF filter taken out and have had it remapped, but they're going to have to go back. They're going to be in trouble. Introducing cameras on lanes soon. You can log in after the car has been tested and watch it. Oh, okay. Happy birthday. Thanks a lot, Red Dirt. Happy birthday. Thanks, mate. Happy 60th. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, short trips do block with EPF. There was a lot of diesels sold, because people always ask me, you know, should I buy a petrol or a diesel? There's good things about a diesel, but there's bad things about a diesel. If you just live in a city and you're just doing city driving, don't buy a diesel, because you will block it up. Especially a modern diesel, you will destroy it. You'll be better off with a petrol car, because a petrol car has no dual mass flywheel, it has no DPF filter, and they don't tend to give as much problems as diesels. But if you're doing long journeys, then obviously a diesel's better. So it all depends on your driving habits. You know, it just depends what you do to what car you really need. But everyone in Ireland is always stuck on, oh, diesel's cheaper, diesel's cheaper. The way I see it is, if you imagine, let's say you're going to buy a car. Let's say it's a petrol car and it's going to cost you £5 grand. And the diesel version of that is going to cost you, say, 8 grand, because the diesels in Ireland are more expensive to buy than a petrol because they're cheaper to run. So that 3 grand you've spent extra on a diesel, just imagine putting that 3 grand, say, on a credit card, how much that 3 grand would get you in petrol. So that 3 grand will most probably, depending on what sort of driving you do, would most probably, make your car last for 2.5, 3 years on fuel. So it's going to take you 3 years to make up that money that you've spent extra on a diesel. Then when a diesel starts giving you a problem, DPF filters, dual mass flywheels, it costs more than a petrol because a petrol doesn't have them. So it really does depend on what you're doing. What about DPF cleaning? Yeah, DPF again, but it all depends on, you can do a regen and you can clean your DPF. But if your DPF filter is completely gone, where it needs replacing, some of them on some Toyotas are €15,000 to replace a DPF filter if you're buying from a main dealer. And most main dealers are a couple of grand, so they're very, very expensive. And if people say, oh yeah, it's going to cost you 3 grand to replace a DPF filter, or I can take it off and remap it and charge you $350, what do you think people are going to do? People are going to go for the $350. They just will. It's wrong, but that's what they do. Random off-topic question: Do you know of any tools to remove a seriously rusty bolt in a hard-to-reach place and where grinders can't get the normal tools? Asking for a friend. An induction heater? If you can get an induction heater on it, but they're very expensive. But if you can get an induction heater and heat up the bolt, that's mostly going to be your best bet. An induction heater, but they're bloody expensive. I want to get one, but I haven't got one yet. Happy birthday, thanks Dave. Helga, happy birthday, thank you. It's your birthday, it's after. New petrols have GPS. I know the guy in Honda 30 petrol with GPS problems. Because he's going on short journeys. Yeah, short journeys are a nightmare. Do you recommend B cleaner for Mondeo diesel? Car had a bit of sluggish. It just depends. I mean, I wouldn't, just because your car's sluggish, it might not need cleaning. There could be loads of reasons. It might not just be your DPF. It could be your EGR valve. It could be, loads of things. So I'd get it figured out first before you just start doing stuff. Helga, thank you very much. Happy birthday. Cheers. Thank you, Helga. You're still going to have to send me some of your cooking over. I don't care of the laws. I don't care if it's going to get stopped by customs. I don't care if it's like something you're not allowed to bring in Ireland. You have to send me some food over. Stuff the law. Send me some food over. GPS will give similar problems to diesels. Yeah, again, depends how you drive. It depends what you do. Still got my girlfriend boom. Did she see the comment though, Tim? Did she see the comment? Import your car, far cheaper, just have a little reg. Import your car, what, from England to Ireland, is it? Because depending on what car you're importing, it can be bloody expensive. Bloody expensive. I always give my 52 that's 2 litre TDI is a good blast in the night before it goes for an MOT. Always pass the emissions. Yeah, it's like I said, you won't really have much problems with the diesel on your emissions unless it's pumping out loads of black smoke. And if it's pumping out black smoke, it's normally because something is blocked, or your intake system is leaking. It's more that you're going to have a problem than actual, because they don't test for NOx yet. I don't know if there's any country, if anyone can tell me, I don't know if there's any country yet that actually tests for NOx on a diesel. There must be, I'm guessing, but I don't know. I know England doesn't. I know Northern Ireland doesn't. I know Ireland doesn't. And I know Holland doesn't. But I don't know about the rest of the world. So if you know, let me know. Oh, I'm missing all these comments now. It'd be interesting to know if any country out there actually does do tests for NOx. I know it's coming in. It is an EU thing. It is coming in, but I don't know if it's in anywhere yet. I've got a mini induction heater. It's not as good if you stop after 20 seconds. It overheats, protects before. But yeah, but that maybe sounds like you've got an issue with your induction heater more so than anything else. Because the ones I've seen, I've never used one, but I've seen them and they seem to heat up the bolt for a lot more than 20 seconds. But maybe they don't. I don't know. That's just what I've seen. But again, I've never used one, so I can't say. But I want one. What do you think about AdBlue? I just spent £4 and exhaust system for my Volvo. The AdBlue system cancelled the exhaust. Wow. What was actually wrong with it, Dan? Was it a complete fail? What year Volvo is it as well? AdBlue is a pain, but it is good. It really does. It really does bring down the NOx massively. But again, it's another system. It's another part of the car that can fail. You've got more pumps. You've got, it makes the car more complicated. But it works. But it makes the car a lot more complicated. I know they're expensive, as you can see from Dan's £4 bill on his car. Is insurance as expensive in the UK as it is here? I think car insurance isn't cheap in the UK either. But I think it's more expensive here still. I think in Ireland it's still more expensive than the UK, but there's maybe not that much in it. What's the addition fluid do? My Peugeot 2008 has an AdBlue tank and additive tank with pump. What year Peugeot? Keith, you sure it's got a AdBlue tank? What year? Must be fairly new. Because most Peugeots, well, again, depends on the year. I'll let you tell me the year before I say what I was going to say. Had a new car last week, 17,000 miles, but now not has for MOT. Other 2 years should be the mileage. Not for first 3 years. Is that in the UK? Is it 3 years in the UK? Oh, Great Britain does test diesels. It tests the NOx, does it? Are you sure about that? I didn't think it did yet. Well, there you go. Maybe England does. I say not Great Britain because Great Britain includes Northern Ireland, so maybe it's just mainland Britain. Yeah, it was expensive here too. My 2011 car about 500 with over 9 years, no claims. Well, that's not bad considering what you'd pay over here. Tony, how you doing? 2015. Is that related to your Peugeot? What did you want to know? What the additive? I didn't think they had the additive tank still in that year. I thought they got rid of it in 2012. You sure you just haven't got AdBlue in that, Keith? Because I thought they got rid of the DPF fluid in 2013, I believe. Well, I haven't seen any cars older or I haven't seen any cars newer than 2013 that has that system. They all seem to just have DPFs or AdBlue or both, obviously. 240 a year for insurance in the UK, that's very cheap. I wish my insurance is only 240 quid. Peugeot. Am I saying it wrong, am I, Mark? Is that what you're laughing at? Wales do not test diesels. Does Ireland only have one company / body that does MOTs? It's called it's called an NCT, and it's they have two separate tests, you could say. So they have one for an NCT, which is cars, and they have one for commercial vehicles. But the NCT is ran by a separate company, actually ran by, because you've obviously missed it, it's actually ran by Spain at the minute, and then the DOE is ran by separate garages who have the equipment to do it. What's the gap with the NCT? Just past mine on our cancellation. Absolutely knackered. What do you think of the Kia's CDR engines? I haven't really had too much problems with them. I don't really see too many of them, Matthew, but I haven't really had that many problems. I've had a few issues with clutches going in them, and they're quite expensive when the clutch goes in them, but I haven't really had too many issues with them. Yes, currently back in Pusa, the additive pump was replaced 6 months ago, and it seems to be pumping too much into the bag. Was empty. You can actually, Keith, depending on who actually reset that system for you, you have to reprogram the system for the mileage, because the higher the mileage of the car, it has to pump more additive into the actual tank to clean it better. So either, you know, because of the mileage it's just going quicker, or someone's maybe reprogrammed it for pumping out too much. You're going to have to get that checked out. But there is a set amount for the mileage that goes into them systems. So either, well, maybe someone's just programmed it wrong, and that's why it's going on your fast. It's a possibility. It's the only thing I can think of at the minute. If you physically can't see anything leaking out, that it's been programmed wrong. Do you not have garage plates on? Yes, I do have garage plates, and I do have trade insurance. So but that's why I said I wish my insurance was that much. But I have what's called trade insurance. So it means I can drive any car, and I have a trade plate which covers me for tax only during working hours or when I'm working. At least your lifts are working. But actually, Gary, my lifts aren't working at the minute because I've got a fucking Citroen CX beached in the middle of my shed. And I've been waiting for a starter motor for nearly 2 weeks now. And it came today and it was wrong. The joys! So I can't move it because it is literally scraping the ground. If I push the car outside, I'm going to rip off the exhaust. I'm going to put a big hole in the sump. So I can't move it. So my lift, you'll see there's videos coming out that I filmed that I'm not working on my lift because of the car, and you saw from my compressor video that you can see the cars in the lift. So I haven't got a lift at the minute. Fucking annoying. 31,000 miles on the clock. Well, that's not big mileage, obviously, Keith. But what could have happened there is, if someone has been, you know, if you said that the pump has been replaced, someone could have put the wrong additive mileage into it, so it could be pumping out. When I get that checked, it could just be the fact that it's been reprogrammed wrong. It's a simple fix, providing you got the computer to do it. Martin, Retro Restores, how you doing? We have to give you a blue wrench. Boom. There we go. Jason, how you doing? Have you drove any electric cars? I drove one the other day for the first time. It was strange. Very quiet. Yes, they are very quiet. I haven't driven too many fully electric cars, but I've driven a lot of hybrids because I've worked on a lot of hybrids, so I've driven a lot of them. But again, they still have the engine in, so yeah. And that's another thing. In Ireland, again, I can only talk about Ireland, but if you've got a hybrid vehicle, they don't test emissions and they don't test the brakes. I know that sounds crazy. If Dave's still here, be interesting to see what they do up in the north. But in Ireland, they don't test the brakes and they don't test emissions. The reason why they can't test the brakes on the machines they have is because of regenerative braking. You'll actually damage the regenerative braking. And they don't test the emissions because they can't turn the engine on separately to the battery. But you actually can. There is a special procedure to completely disconnect the battery pack from the engine, and in the Toyotas it's literally like pressing 50 buttons in like 20 seconds. The procedure is unreal. I am going to show it on a video soon. But yeah, so if you've got a hybrid vehicle in Ireland at the minute, they don't test your brakes and they don't test the emissions. And the really stupid thing is, the brakes on a Toyota, well, most of them, they actually do give problems, because once you get used to driving a hybrid vehicle with the regenerative braking, you don't actually need to use your brakes. So the brakes can actually seize up, because they're not getting used like they would a normal car. So it's very important that they check the brakes, but they don't. Again, just yeah. I should have actually said that when someone asked me the question, what should they include in the test that they don't so far. But yeah, it will come in, but at the minute, yeah. Boom. Alright, so my kind of rant's over about the lovely Irish NCT, which is now going to cause problems here, because people obviously are not going to get I'm going to get no NCT fails for a while, so that's going to cause issues. And then when it comes back in, I'm going to have loads, which is just, yeah, so it's going to have literally no work for a long time, and then boom, there's going to be loads of work. So yeah, I'm still getting more messages about the NCT. David, love the work. Thank you, mate. Opinion on the new Teslas. Do you own the car? You lease them, then they give them back after 3 years. They do. Yeah, again, I've never really leased a car, so I can't really say, but a lot of people are leasing cars. I see it's very popular in the States. I see it's very popular in the States. When's the calendar review, Martin? Actually, my calendar's just there. It's just there, you can't see it, and I can't show it because, yeah, it's just there on the wall. Right, that's it. Anyone got any more questions before I go? And then I can edit this other video again. Because this wasn't supposed to be a live stream at all until till the news broke. Leon, do you do many time and change replacements? Not many. The only time you really have to do a chain is when people don't service the car. But no, I mean I've done a few, but obviously you don't really get many, because most of them kind of last their lifetime. They don't really cause an issue. Well, I say that BMWs obviously are a big thing, so I've done ones on BMWs because they're crap. But on every other car, not really. No, BMWs, yeah. Watching from Thailand. Wow. Yeah, how old were you, Leon, yesterday? It wasn't. It was a few days ago. I was 36. 36. Oh, the traumatic calendar, painful to my eyes. January isn't painful. I tell you what month is painful. And is Martin still here? You still here, Martin? Because the May is very painful. I can't show you it, but May. January is the best month. January and September, I believe. Yeah, January and September, the best months. May is painful. May is yeah. May is May. That's all I can say. Oh, Dave is here. Yes, they do test brakes on hybrids as far as he... Yeah, they don't here. Mine was photoshopped. More like 66. What have I missed there? Oh, yeah, sorry, my age. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Keith. What do you think about Toyotas, M&M shit, and Honda? I don't really see too many of them. We very, very rarely see automatic gearboxes in Ireland. I haven't seen any of them gearboxes here, so they're just not really. They're just not really here. We have very few automatic. It's actually hard to get an automatic car here. If you was to try and buy a second-hand automatic car, unless you're going for like big Jags and big Mercs and BMWs, stuff like that, but the normal cars, they're just hard to get because they don't. They're just not. It's just not popular. May is the best. May is the worst. I can't show it. But no, May, January, and September. They're the months. Last 2 MOT, my brakes were not checked in Northern Ireland Prius. Yeah, I definitely know they don't do it here, but obviously Dave thinks they do, and you're saying they're not, so I don't know. It will be coming in soon because I know the hybrid vehicles do suffer with brake problems because they're not getting used. Not that the brakes are bad, the brakes don't get used, so it doesn't. They just essentially seize. They don't seize on. They just seize. So when you try and press them, they don't particularly work, which is obviously not a good thing because when you need your brakes are kind of important. You know what I mean? And when you don't have them, yeah, you soon know. Because even 10 mile an hour, believe me, 10 mile an hour no brakes is like 100 mile an hour. You know, it soon comes up to the car in front of you, even at 10 mile an hour. What's all the calendar malarkey? Well, I won't show you the picture, but I have done a video on this, Chris. But we have the YouTube calendar 2020. Martin did it. He's in the chat. You'll see him. He's got the blue wrench, retro restores. It was his idea. And the most important person that's in it is obviously Bodger and Leggett Garage. That goes without saying. There's no question about it. Obviously, that is, you know, the most important person here. And January and September are the best months. Again, that's no question. I would just completely forget about May. So May just skip. Pretend May doesn't even exist. That's the best thing to do. Just forget it as a month. You've only got 31 days in May and just pretend it's not there. So what I'd actually advise you to do is go to, before May comes up, go back to January and sit on January for another month. And then once you sit on January for another month, then you can go back after May. That's the best thing. Martin's telling me to show January, so seems though Martin said show January. I'm going to show January. Apart from, do we have any dates here that I can't show? I think we're alright as regards that. Do you want to see January, people? How badly do you want to see January? An exclusive look at January. I've got mine hanging up by the front door. Keeps out burglars. Oh, I love it. Love it. So, how bad do you want to see it? If you don't want to see it, I won't show it. It's a very dramatic pose. It's like a conquering pose. How badly do you want to see it, people? There's a bit of a delay, so I'm gonna leave it until we get some answers. Like your videos, especially about Toyotas, could you please rank the best chaps in Europe under 3k? If the best cheap cars in Europe under 3k, if it's Golf. It's difficult because I can't say for other countries because I don't know. I can only really speak for Ireland, but I could do that in a video, I suppose. But I couldn't really speak for Europe because I don't know. You know, I only really know what cars are popular in Ireland and England and the North because they're practically the same car. But in Europe, I don't know what. I mean, in some parts of Europe, they have cars we never have over here, so I can't really do that. Be brave, but it's not a question about not being brave. I can assure you, it doesn't bother me. I wouldn't have done this if it bothered me. I wouldn't be doing YouTube if it bothered me. So that's not a problem. What the fuck is up with them using a hammer on the underbody rust? What do you mean? Are you ready for January, people? Are we ready? Are we ready? You got. Boom! Look at that. There we go. There is January. Oh, hold on. Let me get it in shot. Is that in shot? I have to wait for the camera to move so I know if it's in shot. Boom! Look at that. There we go. January. Oh my eyes. Should we show May? Martin, is Martin still here? Oh. Trying to fold over the pages of the calendar. Shoddy workmanship. Shoddy workmanship. Yes, I am the headline, Dave. Well, why not? You know, should be. I deserve it. I mean, just look at it. I mean, just look at me. Why wouldn't you be? What you got on your nipples, Leon? I've got tax discs. Tax discs on my nipples. Yeah. Because why not? You know, because that's what you do. Hope you didn't use very strong glue. Hope you didn't use very strong glue on your nipples. What did I just do there? Something just popped up. Yeah, tax discs. Good old tax discs. Right. I think I'll call it for the night. Get my other video uploaded about the Northern Ireland thing, the Northern Ireland test, even though we've kind of talked about it on this one, but I've already bloody made it, so there we go. So that's it. If there's any more questions, you're going to be seriously quick because I'm going, and it's been over an hour now. God, doesn't time fly when you're having fun? Porn, I knew it. Funny. Any more questions? I'll just give it a second just for the bit of delay to happen. Hope you didn't steal my photos. No, I didn't, Dave. I stole the photo you stole from the Tinterweb, if that makes sense. The jerry can was a bit over the top. Could have used a 10mm socket. All I'm going to say is it was very cold that day. So possibly I could have used a 6mm socket. A little one. See you later, mate. Right, that's it. We're going to call it. And yeah. So everybody, thanks for popping along on this quick live stream that obviously wasn't supposed to be a live stream, but you know, the news what happened, we said we'll quickly talk about it. So that's it. Don't forget, check out my Facebook and Instagram and all that. And we'll catch you for the next one. Sorted!